you ever feel that you have this sense of unsafety in your body? Something that makes you feel agitated, you can't settle down, you feel like you're not grounded. It's like you're always on high alert. Well, this is something that I experience and sometimes even still do now since my dad died, and that's been just over 2 years. But it's only been the last, I'd say 6 to 9 months, I've been able to recognize and name this feeling, because before that, all I knew was like I didn't feel right. I had just named it as anxiety, and everyone kept telling me that when you hit the menopause, the perimenopause, your anxiety increases. So I just took that as truth and I just carried on. But it was only when it became like the feeling in my body became so strong and I was struggling to literally function on a daily basis. And all the tasks that used to seem so easy and so natural now was causing me great anxiety. And that was when I decided to stop and to listen to my body. So in that space that I created for myself to be still and to listen, I realized that my body had become really hardwired for bad news. I'd been attached to my phone for over a year, waiting for a phone call to go up to the hospital, waiting for my mum to phone and say, can you come up to the house and help out? And I was constantly in fear of how my dad was getting treated in the hospital. And then, of course, on top of that, that sort of the inevitability of what was happening, that I was going to lose my dad, and that was in my body 24/7. So my body had learned to tune itself into this frequency of unsafety. So, of course, when I began restarting my business, about 18 months after he'd passed away, things like recording YouTube videos, like this is only my third one since my dad's been gone, doing reels or doing courses, things that used to be second nature, so easy, so exciting for me, they would now put me into a spiral of fear and anxiety. And I found myself worrying excessively about the safety of my family and really like over analyzing how I'd be able to cope if or when this happens to my mum. When my mum's not here, that became all consuming. When my husband wasn't home, I had this deepest sense of agitation, and I just couldn't rest until he was in the house. And the other thing that I noticed was that I really retreated from so many of my friendships because I felt safer at home on my own. So what I want you to see here is that my body was reminding me how to feel and behave versus me having specific thoughts that created the feelings and the actions. And this is why now I really coach my clients to manage their seasons with their body first and their brains second, because our bodies are keeping a tally of every experience and every emotion that we ever have and ever will have. And that tally can take us back to a moment in time, just like that. Just one trigger can take us back. Now, this actually happened to me last night. I was doing a meditation, so I was laying on my bedroom floor, and I was like, oh, I remember that playlist that I used to listen to, I reckon about 18 years ago. And I remembered that my sister had found it on Spotify. So I lay down, I put this piece of music on, and within about 10 to 15 seconds, I was sobbing because this music was the trigger. So we can get triggered by sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. So the audio was the trigger. And I was whisked back to the very first holiday that I had as a single parent. I'd left my husband, me and my twin sister and the two children and my mum and dad went on a holiday. And we had a great holiday, but I was carrying the fear and anxiety of now being alone and, worrying about finances. I felt really guilty for breaking up our family. I felt bad for my ex-husband. And all of those feelings came rushing back, and I could see these pictures like it was just playing out one after the other. And I used to use this music a lot to calm me down in a very difficult period of my life. So that had anchored me right back there. Now, the other anchor that was involved there was the fact that obviously my dad is no longer here. So there was this element of grief, but that was something a bit separate. The main thing that caused the tears was the being whisked back to almost 20 years ago and still having these same feelings come up. So the reason that I'm sharing this with you today is because I want to offer you a simple technique that I started to use that has really helped me to navigate this season, to drop the judgment, to lean into self-compassion, to be more self-accepting, and to know that this is just transient. It's not here forever. It's just a season and a cycle that I'm going through. And I still use it now when unsafety presents itself to me in my body, which it still does. And it is literally this. I just tell my body, I am safe. So whilst I'm writing and before I start recording my YouTube, I'm saying to myself, I am safe. I am safe. When I'm preparing to do an Instagram reel, I'm telling myself, I am safe. This is safe. I'm okay. Particularly at nighttime, this is when it has or presented itself the most powerfully, is at nighttime. And so I tend to call in my angels, ask them to wrap their arms around me, and I will repeat, I am safe. I am safe. I'm good. I'm okay. And the reason that this is so powerful is because what I'm doing and what you're going to be doing if you practice this is you're going to start creating new connections. So that not only can you release the unsafety from your body when you're doing things that you used to do that now don't feel right, but you're creating a new, more harmonious brain and body connection. So I didn't want my body, as an example, every time I did a YouTube video to go into full on fear mode. So when I say I'm safe, I'm letting my body know, okay, we can do this again and we can have a different feeling around it. And I can be walking around the supermarket and I can be reciting the mantra in my head, because like I just said, there could be a sight, there could be a sound, a smell, you could see somebody that reminds you of somebody, and whoom, you can feel that unsafety. I'm safe. I am safe. So no one even needs to know that you're doing it. And the more you practice this, the more you can generate this feeling in your body at will, just by repeating the word, I am safe. So please do know that if for any reason, whether it's grief, whether it's perimenopause, whether it's both, whether it's like a season that you're in where you feel this sense of agitation, ungroundedness, and unsafety, I see you, because this was something I did not expect. I thought I would be able to work myself out of it. I've got all the tools, but it was not as easy as I thought, because I'm in a different season in my life. And I just want you to know that this really simple statement can create a much calmer body and mind. So please do try it. Now, I would really appreciate your support. So if you like this video, please do support me by dropping me a comment or a like, subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already, because it really helps me to reach more people and to help more people. See you again soon.